Hello and welcome to KLM Institute.
In a major development in international law, the International Criminal Court (ICC) has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The charges: war crimes and crimes against humanity related to their actions during the ongoing conflict in Gaza. This move has sent shockwaves through the global community, raising questions about Israel's military actions and their consequences. Let's break this down in detail, looking at the situation from every angle and exploring the responses of world leaders. The ICC, based in The Hague, was created to hold individuals accountable for the most serious crimes in the world, including genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. While Israel is not a party to the Rome Statute, which established the ICC, Palestine is. This legal distinction has allowed the ICC to investigate crimes committed in Palestinian territories, including Gaza. In 2018, Palestine referred the situation to the ICC, and several countries, including South Africa, Bangladesh, and Bolivia, joined in to call for an investigation. In early 2024, Chile and Mexico added their voices to the demand, focusing on Israel's actions since the escalation of violence in October 2023. So, what exactly are Netanyahu and Gallant accused of? The ICC alleges that the two Israeli leaders are responsible for intentionally depriving Gaza's civilian population of essential resources such as food, water, fuel, and medical supplies, which amounts to using starvation as a method of warfare. Furthermore, Netanyahu and Gallant are accused of overseeing other inhumane acts, including the murder, persecution, and torture of civilians, and preventing aid from reaching those in need. The scale of civilian suffering in Gaza has been catastrophic, with thousands of lives lost and entire neighborhoods destroyed. The ICC's move is a powerful statement, highlighting the intense international pressure on Israel over its actions in Gaza. If Netanyahu or Gallant were to travel to any of the 124 countries that are members of the ICC, they would be obligated to arrest them and send them to The Hague for trial. However, Israel's key allies, such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany, are unlikely to support such an arrest, as these countries have historically backed Israel's right to defend itself. This arrest warrant is not just a legal action, it's also a diplomatic maneuver that could isolate Israel on the international stage.
And now, I will be very sober in my comment. It is not a political decision. It is a decision of a court of justice, of the International Court of Justice. And the decision of the court has to be respected and implemented. So I take note of the decision of the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants from Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense Mr. Gallant, and the Hamas leaders, Dave. This decision is a binding decision, and all states parties of the court, which include all members of the European Union, are binding to implement this court decision.
Countries like Germany, France, and the United Kingdom, all signatories of the ICC, may face a tough decision if Netanyahu seeks to visit. It's not just a matter of legal obligation, it's a moral and political question that could reshape international discourse around the Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, let's take a look at how world leaders have reacted to this ICC decision. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has strongly condemned the arrest warrants, calling them anti-Semitic, and rejecting the ICC's authority to prosecute him. He argues that Israel's actions in Gaza are part of its legitimate right to self-defense, particularly against Hamas, which he deems a terrorist organization. Netanyahu's rejection of the ICC's charges underscores the growing tension between Israel and the international community. On the other hand, several world leaders have expressed support for the ICC's decision, emphasizing the importance of upholding international law. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made it clear that Canada will respect the ICC's ruling, reinforcing the country's commitment to international justice. Similarly, the European Union's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, reminded EU member states of their duty to abide by the court's rulings, highlighting that all 27 EU countries are signatories to the Rome Statute. In the United States, President Joe Biden has called the ICC's arrest warrants outrageous, reiterating his country's strong support for Israel's right to defend itself. He emphasized that there is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas, drawing a sharp distinction between the two in the ongoing conflict. Some U.S. officials have also criticized the ICC, with National Security Council spokespersons questioning the rush to issue arrest warrants and challenging the court's jurisdiction over Israel's actions. Former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has also condemned the ICC's move, calling it a dangerous precedent that equates Israel with Hamas and undermines Israel's right to self-defense. Gallant's remarks reflect the broader sentiment within Israel that the country is being unfairly targeted while fighting against terrorism. He warned that such legal actions could encourage more terrorism and undermine ethical warfare principles. As the ICC takes a step towards holding Netanyahu and Gallant accountable, the broader question remains: will this arrest warrant change the course of the conflict? Or will it remain a symbolic gesture, with little practical impact? The situation in Gaza is dire, with hospitals overwhelmed by casualties and critical shortages of supplies. Human rights groups continue to condemn Israel's military actions as disproportionate, while others argue that Israel's self-defense actions are justified. In this context, the arrest warrant for Netanyahu and Gallant serves as a powerful reminder that the international community is closely watching Israel's actions. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached staggering levels, and this ICC decision represents a growing global demand for accountability in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Whether this will lead to any concrete change in the conflict remains to be seen, but the pressure on Israel is undoubtedly increasing. As this story continues to unfold, the international community remains divided over how to address the ongoing violence in Gaza. While some see the ICC's actions as a moral victory for Palestine, others fear it could escalate tensions and complicate peace efforts. With thousands of lives at stake, the world watches closely to see if this legal move will pave the way for a broader shift in how the international community handles the Israel-Palestine conflict. In the coming months, we may see further developments, with more countries weighing in on the ICC's decision. The question remains: will this arrest warrant be a turning point in the international legal landscape, or will it remain a footnote in the long history of the Israel-Palestine conflict? Only time will tell, but for now, the ICC's decision has opened a new chapter in the quest for justice in the Middle East. What will be the impact of this decision on world politics, as well as on India? The ICC's decision to issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant is bound to have significant implications for global politics. The arrest warrants serve as a stark reminder of the international community's focus on accountability for war crimes, which could shape how states approach military actions in conflict zones moving forward. Countries that support the ICC's jurisdiction may find themselves increasingly involved in debates over Israel's actions in Gaza, leading to further diplomatic tensions in the Middle East. For India, the decision could be particularly sensitive. India maintains strong ties with Israel, especially in areas of defense and technology, and has traditionally avoided taking a harsh stance on Israeli actions in Palestine. While India has consistently advocated for a peaceful solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, it has not openly criticized Israel to the extent seen in some other nations. With the ICC's warrant making global headlines, India may face pressure to clarify its position on the matter. India's response will likely balance its geopolitical interests with its commitment to human rights and international law. The country has a long-standing interest in maintaining stability in the region, and any legal proceedings against Israeli leaders may affect India's diplomatic engagements. Moreover, India, as a member of the United Nations and a growing global power, may be called upon to take a stance on issues of justice and human rights, even as it seeks to maintain its strategic partnerships in the Middle East. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned with KLM Institute.